Leonardo da Vinci said, "Study the science of art and the art of science." I certainly had a renaissance of opportunities at Mercer Island High School. Where else could my love of science be stimulated with classes like animal behavior, embryogenetics, and biomedical problems, and balanced with my artistic side with classes like children's literature, science fiction and fantasy, and filmist literature, and performance arts where I studied piano and harp. My road to a liberal arts education at Kenyon College was clearly laid. I not only learned scientific inquiry, but the skill of how to communicate my science. That is a skill that many scientists struggle with. I had many amazing teachers at MIHS, but without question, the teacher who guided me on my journey to become one of the founders in the field of genetic counseling was Mr. Bill Touga. I wrote a book, The Practical Guide to the Genetic Family History, which is now in its second edition, which I dedicated to Bill Touga. He opened my mind to the world of embryology, genetics, and seeing patients. In our biomedical problems class, I visited the embryology lab at the University of Washington and the Seattle Children's Genetics Clinic. I knew that the UW was where I wanted to start my career. Here I am, 36 years later. I make a difference every day. Bill Touga was a tough teacher, but it was easy to remember his lessons as they were intertwined in stories and humor. It is ironic to be speaking to you from a pandemic because I first learned of pandemics in his class, as well as the importance of always washing your hands. I can still recant many of his stories. I am leading the charge to begin the first genetic counseling training program at the University of Washington, which is planned in 2021. I plan to incorporate his storytelling techniques into my own classroom style. To tell a brief story of my own career, my first paper was actually published in Dear Abby. A fan questioned the consequences of having a child with her cousin. Dear Abby said, "Absolutely not. Your child will be profoundly impaired." From my training as a genetic counselor, I knew that this was not true, that actually the chance a first cousin will have a child with a problem is only a few % higher than for any couple. My rebuttal was published, my first paper. Later, I gathered a team of experts to publish the facts from all the available data about the risk to first cousin marriages. There was much misinformation and harm was happening to people. People were being told not to have children, to terminate pregnancies based on this information. It was just not right. Our findings were that there are much lower risks to cousins and their offspring than is commonly believed. Our article was published and received quite a lot of attention. In fact, the next day, my picture was above the fold in the New York Times. I was on NPR, the BBC, I even made Cosmopolitan. I was compelled to take my science beyond just what I knew, but committed to making sure this misinformation was corrected. I stood up for scientific truths. I am truly honored to receive the Pathfinder Award. I'm forever grateful for the education I received throughout Mercer Island High School system, but particularly at Mercer Island High School. I'm humbled to share this award with other outstanding graduates. Thank you for this honor and for your time.